Revolutionary greetings, comrades. Last night, the majority of us watched a documentary from Al Jazeera. What we saw on episode 1, to some of us, is not something new. We already know that gold is being smuggled outside Zimbabwe. Only that we might not have known the characters involved, but it's something that is not new. When the Zamazamas were arrested in and around Johannesburg, and there was an uproar. I recall in 2016 when some Zamazamas were trapped underground in Johannesburg in a disused mine, and some in Benoni in a disused mine. And we said there is a syndicate that is buying this gold, because you cannot have people making illegal mining their daily work when there's no syndicate that is buying gold. We said the governments are targeting poor people who are forced by economic circumstances to put their lives on the line to get to disused mine to mine gold. Because this is not sold in an open market, the gold that is mined in disused mine. So while we are talking about the gold mafias as shown in Zimbabwe, but it is, this mafia is operating within the rest of the continent, particularly in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, because you cannot have so many people involved in this mining without anyone buying this gold. So what we saw on Al Jazeera, and were promised another 3 episodes, we just saw the characters that are involved. I saw on Al Jazeera this person having splashing photos with a number of African head of states across the continent that this person meets one of the syndicate of this gold mafia. While as the Zimbabwe Communist Party, we will, after all the episodes have been played out, we do a proper analysis on this gold mafia. But it's important to note that you have in Zimbabwe people that we call Omakorogoza. We spoke about them in the previous video. We spoke about a school that collapsed in Kwekwe a week or so ago because people were digging underneath the school, disregarding the environment. We have seen the wars in Inyati of Omakorogoza. We have seen the wars in Mapisa. We have seen it in Gwanda, in Esigodini, in Shangani. We have seen it in South Africa, in Johannesburg. It's a booming business for the mafia because it is not regulated. While the Zimbabwean government will hide behind the sanctions, which we'll discuss later on. But it's important to note that what we saw is something that we knew. There's no political will from both countries to address this problem because it is big capital, it is the mafia that is driving this business. It is controlled by the mafia. It is the mafia that buys this gold from Omakorogoza. In the case of Zimbabwe, the money that is being laundered through the Reserve Bank, it is the same money that finds itself in the streets where hospitalian or money changers will be doing business in terms of changing money to people that are visiting Zimbabwe. So we thought it's important that while there's this talk on social media as a result of the Al Jazeera expose, it's something that we know. And we characterize the Zimbabwe as a deep militaristic state. And we said this is a state which is parasitic in nature. It's no longer your comprador bourgeoisie as we know it, a comprador bourgeoisie that is capitalistic in nature. It will build infrastructure. It will pay workers. It will run a proper capitalist economy. Since 2017, what we call the Second Republic, we are seeing a parasitic bourgeoisie which is militaristic in nature, which runs the affairs of Zimbabwe. As we saw in the documentary, a prominent prophet who's one of the people that is used as a conduit for this gold smuggling, for money laundering and so forth, is not something that is new. Now, the question, therefore, that we're confronted with is, how do we react to this as citizens? Because we know there's plundering of our resources. Whether it was true or not, at some point Mugabe spoke of 15 billion US dollars that was lost through diamonds in Chiazo. Nothing was done. The people that were looting diamonds in Chiazo are still governing us. So the question that we're confronted with, how do we react as citizens when our natural resources have been plundered? As I've said, we will, at some stage, give a proper analysis as the Zimbabwe Communist Party on this gold mafia. But all of us as citizens, we must ask this question. What is it that we must do to ensure that our natural resources are protected, our natural resources benefit all of us in terms of infrastructure, infrastructure like schools, roads, access to water, building dams, ensuring that we do not have load shedding in Zimbabwe? These are the questions that we should be asking ourselves. But I know that you have been watching the documentary. Please share your views on the comment section, like this video, circulate. Please do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Otherwise, Amandla Comrades.